All right, we are back out at the bike park. We have a Developer Mini in front of us. You all, if you have watched some of our last videos, have already seen this Developer Mini. This is one with the Here Flow and Terra Ranger optical flow in the case of the Here Flow sensor, and rangefinder in the case of the Terra Ranger. And I don't think this Developer Mini has seen flight since it has been rebuilt. It suffered an accident with one of our engineers. So it was rebuilt and I just don't think has been tested since. And it needs to be tested ahead of some of the upcoming work with more rangefinders, but being used for a collision avoidance, not just for improving landing precision and being able to hold a position indoors or even outdoors without a GPS. All right. We have props on props on props. Look at that. We have, what, 3 sets of props for the minis? We also have another Developer Mini, not yet out here. We'll be getting that in a little bit. That was the one that we had out here yesterday with the Spotlight ModKit. It hit me after we finished up that I could have at least used the iVue RC app to test out the Spotlight via USB, and now that we have the Legion Go, I want to see if we can bypass the Bluetooth problem we were having with it yesterday, again to use the iVue RC app before we send it off. And then lastly, we have a Developer that we are having controller problems with that we'll hopefully be able to suit out. It looks like, again, there was some parameters that were updated on that Developer that shouldn't have been updated. Actually, another Developer was getting set up with a thermal camera, which again, you'll be seeing here shortly, not today, but here in the next few videos within the next weekish. But nonetheless, let's finish getting this Developer Mini ready and off the ground. Just need to install the battery in the rear. Now, with this not being tested, any number of variables or problems could arise. But again, why we do testing. Technically, we don't even need our ground control software pulled up, but it's nice to have more often than not.
Welcome to HTX. Throttle warning. iVue telemetry ready.
This Developer Mini is exposed! Shield your eyes! 3 side plates are off. This time we won't forget props. How funny would it be if I still forget props?
Hold flight mode.
We'll use these props, put these props under the Legion case. Before we put the props on, let's see if we can find out if this controller has already been connected. I think it has been, so let's actually just try seeing if there's an apparent option. It's hard to tell from that menu. Let's try and see if 5.8 or 44750. Let's see. Bluetooth. Just in case, I'm going to remove these Maytech devices. Remove. Fresh start, right? What more could you ask for? Bluetooth. All right, so it's 44750, 1, 2, 3, 4, enter, connected. All right, so now let's go back to the iVue RC app. I think it should just be that one. Connect. Maybe I misclicked. Connect. I'm going to check Device Manager to see if the Bluetooth device is also tied with a COM port. Sometimes that's the case. Ports. Come on. There we go. Nope. Wrong drop down. Let's see if I can use the cursor. 3, 4, 8, or 10. Let's try. Connect. Connect. No, we have definitely, again, had this working before, so Mohit, I know we discussed this a little bit, either last night or a couple nights ago. Hard to remember which at this point. But we are not receiving a connection, so I'm just going to see if we can go into Loiter flight mode. Looks like we can, and we'll just fly without the iVue RC app or any ground control software. What could go wrong? Before I install the props, I'm just going to double check that all the motors are spinning the right direction. So I'm arming the motors.
Motors armed.
And all the motors are spinning inwards, so we look good.
Motors disarmed.
And when I say all the motors are spinning inward, if you're not familiar, the front 2 motors should be spinning inward towards like the front center, and the back 2 props should be spinning inwards towards the rear center. The leading edge of the props is what you should be looking at. And that's almost always the flat edge, the flatter edge. All right. I don't know the battery level on this Developer Mini either, but it's definitely drifting a lot more than I would like. Yeah, I'm like really having to fight it. Let's see if I can put it into land flight mode.
Flight mode.
It's not exactly responding exactly as I would like, to say the least.
Loiter flight mode.
It's going to be a kind of tough landing. Oh man. More than a little bit of a tough landing. Yeah, so something was definitely up, which would have been nice to have ground control software, but sometimes you have to live with the mistakes you make and, you know, learn the next time. So I guess that's it for this Developer Mini test flight. Not exactly by choice.
GPS 3D fix lock. No GPS. GPS 3D fix lock.
I should probably unplug the battery as well. Well, Gerardo, luckily you're out of town, so guess you don't need this Developer Mini right here, right now, but I will have it back ready for you upon your return. Before we move on, I'm just going to take off the props really quick to pack it up. Yeah, I don't know exactly what was the deal with the Loiter hold, as that's worked really well previously. It's kind of banking on having this developer mini for a career day event, outreach event that we have later this week, but such is life. Now this prop is seemingly stuck on. The motor is spinning. Let's see, do I have any tools with me to get a better grip on it? I don't think so. I guess that prop is staying on if it can fit in the case. I think we can. I think we can. The little drone that could. Or couldn't in this case. Rest in pieces, developer mini. All right, let's hope developer mini's big brother, developer base model, fares better fate. It's getting a call. Hopefully, probably spam. Well, hopefully not spam, but probably spam. Hopefully spam in the sense that, you know, not able to answer it right now. All right. 0 for 1. Can we go 1 for 2? Without hopefully breaking these props I almost just broke. Before you guys ask, this is a glue stain. Not get your mind out of the gutter. Had a little battery extender. Here it is. Just XT60 female to male. You can buy these or you can make them if you want to save a few bucks. And this developer has been totally reset. There might need to be some parameters that we change. We might need to switch the motor direction. We're definitely gonna have to do a compass and accelerometer calibration, or at least almost definitely do a compass and accelerometer calibration. So let's get to it. Going to open up QGroundControl because a lot of this setup and configuration, or pretty much all of this setup and configuration, we don't have the ability to do in the iVue RC app. We're focusing on just flight operations for the time being, what's essential for you to be able to fly, like a calibration of the compass if you're not currently able to fly. And then beyond that, we'll get to the setup and configuration and some of the other kind of less essential, well, essential, but just not as pertinent to what most people want to do, which is the flying part, not the setup and configuration part. Should be getting a GPS lock any moment now.
Compass not calibrated.
Yep, compass is not calibrated. I was about to get out the controller, but I forgot there's the controller built into this Legion. All right, and I don't think the motor direction should have changed on this develop air, but I am going to verify they haven't.
Compass not calibrated.
So I just went over to the vehicle configuration menu. Don't really need to spin it up to 20%, but I think these motors are about 13-14% minimum without using a 4-in-1 ESC, so just using them through PWM. All right, A spins the correct way, B spins the correct way, C spins the correct way, and D spins the correct way. All right.
Disarmed.
Makes me feel a lot better about our chances for successful flight and successful landing, much more so than the previous Develop Air Mini. Man, these USB ports are so sensitive. Like women. I'm not sensitive. I feel no emotion. If only that were the case, right? Not really. All right, first up, I guess accelerometer calibration. Now that we have gone ahead and done the motor spinning, it's not exactly flat and level. None of this is exactly flat and level. And let's hope we don't lose connection here. We're probably going to. I think I just accidentally minimized QGroundControl. I did. Dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun, da, da, da.
Compass not calibrated.
It's probably not the greatest accelerometer calibration, not being on flat and level ground, but just to verify we have controller support working again, should be more than enough. And while I thought we had a problem with the iVue RC app with the controller not working, which could be the case still, it seemed like during testing on the bench, so not during flight, again, either last night or the night before, I think last night, we seemed to determine calibration complete.
Compass not calibrated.
All right. We seem to determine that the controller was not working in QGroundControl either. So hit OK. Parameters, tools, and I don't think QGroundControl is going to force close on us. This Windows version works better than the Mac version I have.
Stabilize flight mode.
We have one of the bikers interested in our work, hence the wave, not to camera. My knees are getting wet.
Compass not calibrated.
All right, I'm going to do a compass calibration, and let's see how well this goes. Alrighty, not the smoothest of movements. Maybe too close to devices as well. Just trying to give myself all the excuses for this one not being a good calibration.
Compass calibration running.
Yeah, not great. We're gonna reboot, but we're gonna need to redo that.
Compass not calibrated.
Having the battery slide around is not ideal. Should just strap it a little bit tighter. Let's see if we can get away with it. Still not great.
Compass calibrated requires reboot.
Going to reboot. Hopefully third time's the charm. I mean, hopefully first time's the charm, right? But I try, and I try, but I can't get no. Hey, hey, hey. That's what I say. I can't get no satisfaction. But I try, and I try, but I can't get no. All right, both borderline yellow, which is not great, but we're going to take it. We are gonna take it. Yeah, we are gonna take it. We are gonna take it, 'cause we wanna fly.
Stabilize flight mode.
No. Can I do it without losing the connection? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go over to Loiter flight mode.
Loiter flight mode.
Not quite ready.
Need position
Need a
estimate.
position estimate. In the meantime, let's put on props, and hopefully by the time props are on, we can go back over to the iVue RC app, take flight, try out the controller. If it works there, we're done with this developer. If it doesn't, we're back into QGroundControl to verify whether or not the controller works there. We're not gonna take it anymore. Lovely, there's a Band-Aid out here. That's definitely not mine. If it were mine, it would have like Dora the Explorer or some other, cartoon character on it. Because I'm a big boy. Struggling to get this prop on. There we go. Oh man. One of my lovely sound effects for you viewers. All right, after the last developer mini flight, what could go wrong with this flight, right? We got everything that could go wrong out of the way already. So this update was pushed yesterday. So I guess our meeting I've been talking about was last night. Connect drone and STM32 connect. We'll zoom in. We'll activate the controller. Going to zoom in to developer's position just a little bit more. Gamepad is activated. Fly, arm and take off to 10 feet. Okay, controller's working, so it was just a parameter problem. Nice. All right, now I'm in loiter flight mode. Forward, back works, left, right works. Great. So that means we'll be pushing the iVue RC app version 1.6.0 to production, if not later today, certainly within the next couple of days, now that we verify there is not actually a controller problem. Now, one thing I should mention though, speaking of the controller, to actually verify the controller is working properly, you can actually see the movement within the gamepad page. So let me just go ahead, exit out of this page, back to the drone menu, and I'm just going to hit land and have it land automatically, it being developer. And it disarmed. All right, 1 for 2. And seeing as we were having problems with the Bluetooth connection of the last developer mini, I'm not so hopeful we're going to have better luck with the third developer you'll see today, the second developer mini, but we're going to give it a shot after this quick commercial break. We have the third developer, the second developer mini we'll be testing today, attempting to test today. And again, while we have already verified this developer works exactly as intended, at least for our customer's case, where they're not going to be using our software or QGroundControl, at least maybe beyond a little bit of initial testing or mission planner, as they're developing their own software or have their own software that they are expanding into drone control. However, I just want to verify that the iVue RC app can control the spotlight, if not in flight, with the Bluetooth connection issue that we've been having, at least via USB, we can show that the iVue RC app still works to control the spotlight. Well, let's go ahead and get the controller booted up. Take off the bra. Much like being a relief for women at the end of the day, right? You know, a relief for drone operators as well in the middle of the day. All right, no telemetry yet, but that's fine. We don't have developer mini on. Going back over to our Bluetooth menu here on the Legion. And we're going to see if we can add this Bluetooth device. 1, 2, 3, 4, connect. All right. And 8.3. Now, not going to get any information there. Probably did this a little out of order for what's ideal.
RF signal critical. Stabilize flight mode.
And look at that, we're getting the Bluetooth connection. So it looks like we should be able to at least theoretically use this developer mini in flight as well with the iVue RC app. Now I'm going to set it out a little bit further away from us. Still not getting satellite count. Yeah, we're not getting any satellites according to the controller either. I'm going to reboot.
RF signal critical. Stabilize flight mode. Altitude hold flight mode.
And let's give it a few moments to see if we can lock onto a satellite connection. Which shouldn't take too long. Maybe the spotlight is hindering the GPS performance ever so slightly, but shouldn't really be making too notable of a difference. I'm actually fairly surprised there is no satellite connection at all already. Be one case if we're indoors not having a satellite connection this quickly, but let me just double check the hardware connection. Again, nothing has changed. Doesn't hurt to do though. Yep, everything looks a-okay. All the components look a-okay, I should say. Everything is far beyond the scope of Developer Mini. It's just my magic touch is what was required. Now we have connection to 5 satellites. Maybe today's just a bad day for satellite connectivity. Because that first Developer Mini, I didn't even check if the GPS was connected or if we had it totally disconnected, disabled. Which, if it was using satellite connection and not just the here flow and optical flow, or the optical flow and rangefinder setup, then that could explain the issue. We got GPS home with 9 satellites. Let's give it a little bit more to lock onto a couple more. Should probably pull up the video from yesterday. I think I'll do that as well. And verify the values we set. Let's see if I can check it out in the offline version I have on this computer, which is a little bit lower resolution. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I have the whole screen recording, never mind. So I'll have full resolution to check out. All right. Have just what I need. I needed something to feel. Do, 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 do. It's my life. It's my rock and roll dream. Imagine dedicating your life to performing and writing music instead of producing drones and media content and software to bridge the gap between the two. As if. All right, well, here goes nothing. We're gonna just take off before we try adjusting any of the values in the iVue RC app. So again, what could go wrong? Oh, I was like,
Battery level 2
why is it
alert.
drifting so much?
Loiter flight mode.
Okay, we're in Loiter flight mode. We have a nice stable hover. Going to turn it around
Battery level 2 alert.
just so I could see it a little bit better. Have a little bit of a wind this Developer Mini is having to fight. We're going over to the
Battery
ModKit screen.
level 2 alert.
All right, we need to change these ports to number 7 and 8.
Battery level 2 alert. Battery level 2 alert.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. Let's see.
Battery level 2 alert.
So it's not letting me change this 5, which is the vertical tilt. That should be 8.
Battery level 2 alert.
What voltage? No, we should be plenty fine on voltage.
Battery level 2 alert. Battery level 2
All
alert.
right. Just trying to manage too much while I'm in flight. Ideally, you would just be able to connect the spotlight to
Battery
port
level
number
2 alert.
13 and 14, or 13, 14, and 15, 13 through 16, as would be the case with our larger developer models. However,
Battery
this
level
developer
2
mini
alert.
is set up with the spotlight connected to ports number 7 and 8.
Battery level 2 alert. Battery level 2 alert.
Oh man, this is not great.
Battery level 2 alert.
Oh, I can't disarm through iVue RC app,
Motors disarmed.
or just wait long enough. Well, good thing these are our props. Everything else looks still great and clean,
GPS.
other than this rear boom arm. That'll get wiped off before it's sent out.
No GPS.
No actual physical hardware issues though. Just not a clean landing. Again, not necessarily the most ideal flight facility, but we use what we have to work with. All right, before I do anything else, I am going to take props off.
GPS 3D fix lock. No GPS. GPS 3D fix lock.
And I'm going to also
No
reboot.
GPS. GPS 3D fix lock. No GPS. RF signal critical. Stabilize flight mode. Loiter flight mode.
And that's why you should use automated landings wherever possible, people. Not try to show off how competent of a drone operator you are.
GPS 3D fix lock.
Clearly not competent.
GPS.
Talking about drone operation here,
No GPS.
although there's plenty of other areas
Fix lock.
not
No
competent.
GPS. GPS 3D fix lock. No
So ideally there would be like some
fix lock.
arrows that I could use to go up and down. And so basically it's not letting me set 1 through 4 accidentally, but in the UI not allowing me to set 1 through 4, it's not look at that. Okay, so I just need to select it and then I can replace the value. And that actually needs to be 8. Oh, darn it all. Darned it all. All right, that needs to be 8. This needs to be 7. All right, the tilt down PWM.
No GPS.
Oh, whoops. Need to be careful. So that takes effect immediately. That's good to know. 425.
Fix lock.
All right, as we saw, 425 is straight and level. And then this is actually backwards. I wonder if we can do it backwards with the higher value as down. I don't know if our UI will support that. Again, this is all custom, so no one should ever have to set this when you're buying a developer mini planning to use one of our mod kits. This is a custom spotlight mod kit, not the actual one that is being represented here on screen. As I mentioned in our last video, this is a more basic one just with tilt up and tilt down with no other light control other than turning it on and off. And 425. So you can see the iVue RC app is turning it, is able to control it. Let's see if I turn on, okay. And again, we don't have all the correct values to set because the spotlight is for a more advanced version that we don't have here physically. So you can see the iVue RC app can control payloads like the spotlight with the developer mini. It does require some configuration in its current state, and as you can see, we do have a warning message. Editing these values could lead to the ModKit getting damaged, or of course even your developer. So do any sort of modification at your own risk. We just try to make doing that modification as accessible for you to do as possible. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about what you've seen here or how we can make developer more accessible, of course, along with the iVue RC app, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, appreciate you watching, and you'll catch us in the next one. Peace.